Another thing that also changed my life and made me think differently about sports was the imposter syndrome. Because despite the progress, I kept asking myself, I don't have, I now love football. I have a passion for it. I'm enjoying the space, but I don't have sports knowledge. When each time I sat at a table, I felt like I was a fake woman. There are women who have, studied sports, men who have studied sports, and I just had a degree in development studies, and I was feeling so small sometimes. So I decided, how about I pursue a master's in sports management. And within a few months, I'd discovered where I wanted, and I said I must do it at the best university, which is the biggest club, Real Madrid. So I'm going to this place. So I sold my car, and then I took the leap and did a master's in sports management. And besides this moment, this AWISI baby that we have, studying at Real Madrid changed my life in a very, very huge way, because I came back with an international mindset. I stopped thinking about Mombasa, just Mombasa alone. I started thinking I need to connect with Africa. How do I, change the things that I don't like? Because, for example, let me give you an example. There were so many young people we met in the football programs who are dreaming of Madrid, dreaming of playing in Man U, dreaming of playing in Chelsea, including my own children. They all wanted to play in the big clubs. But when I went to Madrid, some of the people I had conversations with, they said, but Mariam, do you think it is really practical for Africans to keep dreaming like that? How about you invest in your own continent? Build your own leagues, build your own clubs, create infrastructure, because we're already investing so much money in our own young people. It would be unreasonable for us to start investing in your own. There are very few, of course, young African players who succeed, but where will the rest go? And that question disturbed me quite a lot. And I thought to myself, I think I need to focus better. So I had this dream. I came back with 3 dreams. One, I wanted to finish a sports memoir that I had written, that I had started in 2010. And the reason I had started that memoir, besides loving writing, was because one time a journalist was writing about me and said, the clueless housewife turned football guru. And I was quite perturbed. I was like, I'm not clueless, how can I be clueless? I know these things. I have a sports management master's. Housewives are not clueless, man. They know what they're doing. So I wanted to write my memoir the best way I could and write my own story. So I came back with the energy to finish my book. And I want to say that in 2022, I launched it, and it's called Boots Don't Lie. Of course, it's all over. You can buy it. This is me advertising myself. But the story is good. Yeah? Then the other dream was to set up East Africa's first sports university. So I started dreaming big again, and people said, oh my God, this time, there you go again. I said, I'll do it, because one thing I've noticed is that when you have big dreams and write them down, they actually happen, because you are focused towards that. So I came up with this dream. Before I knew it, I bought 10 acres of land. I've built our first sports residential. The other day we had visitors coming to inspect us to see if we are ready to host, interns from a certain university. We want collaborations. We have a lecture room. Baby steps. We have an 11-a-side field. We have an 8-a-side field. 10 acres is big. So the dream is there. Yeah? And the third one was to have a space like this, because I said each time I go to places, sometimes I'll be seated behind Uko, because men will not give you the space. Yeah, I'm sure many women have experienced that. You go to a forum. There's one time that really pissed me off, sorry to use that word. I went for a sports conference in Uganda, and the high table was full of men. And I had found my way somehow, and I had to speak. And I said, if I didn't know better, I would think this is a boys' tea meeting. And they were very pissed about it. They were not happy about my comments. But I said, come on. If you're talking about funding for sports, and you don't have women at the table, what are you saying to the world? It's no longer possible to grow in sports without women. Yeah? So I said, we must create our own tables. And that thing kept bothering me. So in 2019, I said, I'll have a group of African women. I had this dream. I called them, and then we celebrate. So I wrote out letters, African women sports symposium, I called it, in Mombasa. But who would listen to a girl in Mombasa? So I wrote letters. I ended up having about 50 women from Mutaani. You know what Mutaani means? The village, the communities. Not the kind of women like you who are fancy and all dressed up. No, the other ones, the local ones, the ones we want to target. Yeah? From the community, the footballers. So they came, and we had speakers. I think Noor was one of them. She was there trying to inspire the young footballers. And that was in 2019. And that's where AWISI was conceived in Mombasa. And why I believe that AWISI is really an international baby. The next time I thought about AWISI was in South Africa. So I go to South Africa in the World Football Summit to give, I was one of the speakers, and I look at all these amazing women, and I'm thinking, wow, if only we could have a group where we could just share ideas and grow each other. So I started talking to these women, and I said, how about we come together, let's create a group, and then you bring other women, and then we start dreaming and doing this and this. And that's where AWISI took its first breath. Yeah? Remember, it was conceived in Mombasa, and then born in South Africa. Yeah? And then we started a group. By the time I was reaching Mombasa, we were about 100 women on that group. And they were all from different countries. And then I said, but of course, this is not going to grow unless we make certain decisions. And so we started thinking about, how do we register? How do we make this happen? Where can we do this and that? And of course, I don't want to say that I was being patriotic, but I had always dreamt I would be a president of something, I don't know what. So I was just being strategic. I said, let's take it to Uganda. Yeah? Because then it would give me the ease of doing things. Because if I said in Kenya, sorry to say, maybe Karuradul would be the first president. Yeah? But anyway, that's on a lighter note. So we took it to Uganda, registered, and out of the 5-6 women that I approached, we only managed to register AWISI officially with Carol Radul, Cynthia Mumbo, and Esther Musoke. So can we give them a big applause? Because sometimes you have a dream and you try to pull people together, but some will remain behind. So when it came to the actual giving birth of AWISI, those 4 women, they took the